So I'm here today with a rock star that we have known for many, many years in all sorts of different positions that she's held at the Richland Hospital in Richland Center, Wisconsin. Her name is Courtney Clone. Did I pronounce that right? Yes. I
Got
didn't
it.
have to do that part. She is the Vice President of Professional Services for the Richland Hospital, and you're over the ancillary services and compliance. And like we were saying before, what I really love about you is you have been with this journey from the beginning. You led the employee experience team. You've been a part of the steering team the entire time, and now you are our rock star uh, initiative champion, which is we're just delighted to have you. And so I was so happy with your busy schedule that you took some time out. You know, as I've talked about before with the Just Start with Janes, there are those organizations, teams, or even single leaders that just really take our solutions and go crazy with it. Why, like Sue and I always talk about, it's like beyond our wildest dreams. And we're here today to talk about one of the Just Start solutions for positive communication, which is hallway hospitality. Who knew? Just saying hello could make such a huge difference. And whenever Sue and I teach this and train it to leaders and employees and organizations, we always say, like, this is the number one thing that made such a huge difference in our community, knew that something big was going on in our building. That people would come up to me that I knew from the post office and the grocery store and my church or whatever, and they would say, I don't know what you got going on over at that hospital, but there's something big happening. It feels different. And and when you think about the true definition of hospitality, it's the generous reception of strangers as if they were your family and friends, right? Hallway hospitality totally
Right.
describes that. So, on the negative part of it, something so wonderful and luscious, there are just those employees who don't get it, right? And there are people who try to overthink hallway hospitality, where we had one organization that instead of focusing on the people that were doing it and doing it well, and that 3 to 1, instead of really focusing on them and how well they were doing, they went right away to the people who weren't or had forgotten that day, and they got a ticket, like a police officer giving a ticket. Okay, so that didn't do much for the campaign, right? And the other thing is, and we see this all the time, is people's perception is they're very, very friendly and welcoming, but they say hi to people they know. And the definition is the warm and generous reception of strangers as if they were your family and friends. You still got to say hello to people that you know. So talk to me about your campaign. Did you give it a catchy title? What have you guys called it?
So you bet. So we actually rolled out this initiative at the very start of our journey. And our
Mhm.
patient experience team at that time, which we call For Excellent Care, they were energized around this topic because it is so simple. So when you're starting something as huge as our Soaring to Excellence journey, start with something simple. We could have never imagined it have the deep impact that it does. So we call it High in the Hallway because, again, we want to keep it simple.
Right.
And it's really about greeting every single person every time. If someone is lost in our hallways, taking them to where they want to go so that it is this warm, inviting environment for colleagues, patients, visitors, and staff. So it's really an important initiative that has shifted who we are as an organization.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. And how did you train it? Training's hard, right? Like, it doesn't seem like you should have to teach people to say hi in the hallway, but you do. You can't assume.
You do. Absolutely. And when you say it's so simple, people overthink it, that's me right here. I overthought it. But we have all staff development days, and the team that's rolling out the initiative, because they're taking ownership and they're so excited as it is, they trained staff at an all staff development day. And then it really comes down to staff taking the baton and peer-to-peer accountability. So it's
Nice.
really important that we're all saying hi in the hallway. And if someone passes you and doesn't say that, that doesn't mean that you don't greet them. It means
Mhm.
that you greet them because it brings it to their attention. If you see somebody giving verbal directions, you role model what it means to take them where they want to go or where they need to go. So it was really that initial training. And then because it's so simple, it didn't take a lot of follow-up training, but rather follow-up role modeling and holding each other accountable to that standard.
I love that. You are so right. I used to have employees who would come to me and say, so and so doesn't say hello to me, and I'm like, well, did you say hello to them? And well, no, because they're angry or their face is mad or remember, no, 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 that's not how this rolls. You're right. It calls them out without ever saying a word to them. It's like, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh, I am supposed to be doing that, right? So
Brings it to your
very nice.
attention.
Yeah. So, what do you think has made the biggest impact about your High in the Hallway campaign?
I think it's the shift in the feel of our organization. So
Mhm.
anybody who walks in our building, you're going to get a warm greeting. Anybody who wanders our hall, you're going to get a warm greeting. And it
Mhm.
helps everybody in our building to feel as though they belong with the Richland Hospital family. And there's nothing more powerful than that feeling of belonging. So it's shifted our culture to this very warm space to where you feel comforted being in our facility, and you really develop these relationships with your colleagues and with others that you may not have before. So that's been the biggest impact, is just the cultural shift and that warm, inviting, belonging atmosphere.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I agree. And, from a physical perspective, you don't have a warm and fuzzy lobby and reception area. So your
Right.
people really have to work it. They really have to make up that difference because it was just not built for welcome. We love you, but it feels that way. I can attest when I walk in your building, I feel it for sure. So do you know of any way to measure the impact? Have you guys been able to do that?
You can measure the impact through actual data, looking at patient satisfaction surveys, or through employee engagement surveys regarding our culture. But I would say the greatest measurement doesn't come from the data. It comes from when we have providers visiting our site who are potential recruitments, and they
Mhm.
comment on the warm, inviting environment. It comes from the new employees who, without being asked to give the feedback, share how warm and inviting our environment is compared to others that they've been in. So,
Mm.
yes, you could track it based on data, but that feedback means so much more. And it says
Right.
that we're doing something right and that this is really making an impact.
I love to tell the story of the time I was interviewing a nurse from Canada, and where my meeting or my office was as the CNO, she had to walk a long ways from the front door all the way through the hospital, up an elevator, down the hall. And by the time she got there, she just walked in and she said, I want to work here. Like, what do
That's
I have to
awesome.
do to just join this? This is amazing. Everyone, I feel like I already belong and I've just applied. So yeah,
Right.
that's great. Has there been
It's that
negativity about
belonging.
it?
I would say that at the start of it, you're always going to have your innovators, your early adopters, your late adopters. So
Mm,
you're going to
yep.
have those who resist change. It's a natural part of change evolution. But the biggest, I'd say there's two areas that we received pushback. One was, do we really have to tell people to say hi? This is silly. Why do we have to tell people to say hi?
Yeah.
Which, we expected that. The other was, it feels uncomfortable if I've seen somebody 6 times in the last hour and I'm still saying hi. But you know
Yep.
what? You would hear laughter in the hallway because people would pass each other and they would have fun with it. So
Yeah.
there is benefit to that. So In time, just as with every positive change, the adopters became a bigger group than the resistors, and it becomes more uncomfortable to resist that change,
Right.
and you start to come on board with that. So, not a lot of pushback, just very human nature type of pushback.
Okay. Okay. You know, we had a gift in that our CEO was he believed deeply in this. I mean, he loved High in the Hallway. And he would come back up to the C-suite and he would say, Sue, Jane, you know, who's this guy? This is what he looks like. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Denny. And he's like, he did not say hi to me. And I said, well, David, did you call him out? Did you say hello to him first? You know, and so we coached him, like, next time that happens, just stop him, like, hey, I don't think we've met. I signed your paycheck. Just saying. No, just, I mean, he would not be sarcastic like that, but he did. He would coach people in the moment, you know, and it was great. So is there
You know,
anything you can add? Any other advice you'd love to give to patient experience teams just ready to go with this?
you bet. So just ready to go, I would say don't overthink it. You
Oh,
know, get some high energy around this, make it so simple that it's hard not to grab the baton and run with it.
great.
I would say to sites that feel that they've really hardwired this, that once you move from good to great, you can't settle at great because you'll lose momentum. So how can you elevate it more, such as maybe you're saying hi in the hallway, but are staff using each other's names when they say hi? You know, how
Okay.
can you challenge your staff to learn 3 new names a month? You know, make it fun, make it
Oh, I love
inviting and okay to say, you know, I can't recall your name. Can you remind me of that? You know, it's okay to say that, but
yeah.
are we elevating high in the hallway to that level of using someone's name? Because that's powerful.
Well, I was encouraging a team to elevate their practice once, and I had a CEO say to me, "We already do this. We do it." We had someone secret shop it, and his initiative champion had to turn to him and say, "That was 3 years ago. We've never looked at it since then. We don't know." So, yeah, you gotta be elevated, and you're right. If you want to be even greater, then great. Got to go the distance. So
Yep,
greatness has no finish line, right, Courtney?
that's right. Couldn't agree more.
She's got the t-shirt. All right, guys, if you want what Courtney has, you can have it. All right. Go to our website, www.capstoneleadership.net. 3/4 of the way down on the homepage is a big fat button that says Just Start Solutions. And we would love to talk to you about your service needs and how we can help with them.